We just saw the TPG share price falling after that regional merger with Telstra was denied. Do you think they are the ones going to be most affected by this announcement this morning?
Absolutely. So TPG is the smallest of the three, and also it has previously had the ambitious plan of rolling out all these infrastructure to roll it through, and it requires a lot of capital. Now, it would make a lot of sense for telco to share a lot of their spectrum, and would have been a lot cheaper to do so. Clearly, you will reduce competition, and it probably means the price competition will reduce as well. To be quite frank, in the last couple of months, in the last 6 months, we actually have seen quite a significant price increases through the mobile pricing, somewhere in the double digits. So, what that really means is that you do need the competition to pick up, and I do think that it's very unlikely for them to ever get that deal through. This is the second time it's been knocked back.
Tech stocks up about 10% the past month. Megaport up 40, Appen up 18, WiseTech up 10. Are you liking the tech sector right now?
Look, we have liked it for quite some time, but they certainly look like it has run quite significantly, particularly the names that has potential AI in it, things like Megaport, things like Appen, even though some of them may not really have that exposure yet, they just talked about it. So, a bit of hype in that space. Across the rest of the tech sector, things like Xero and the like, they ran very hard. We still think there's more upside. But if you start looking at comparing tech sector with healthcare, it does look like, healthcare seems to be presenting a lot of value at the moment.
Yeah, why has the healthcare sector come off so much in the past few weeks?
Yeah, it's mainly CSL had a very surprise downgrade, being one of the largest quality growth company listed in the ASX. This is probably the second downgrade I've ever seen in its entire listed history. So, really surprised the investor. But what CSL said is really, look, everyone's expecting way too much recovery, just pushed out a little bit. So that has seen share price down 10% within 2 days. So now that's very unusual, present very good buying opportunity, but certainly has weight on the rest of the healthcare sector.
Retail stocks also taking a bit of a hit. Is this just simply the effect of inflation and consumers tightening up the spending?
Yeah, in the last 2-3 weeks, we have seen significant amount of retail businesses downgrading, talking about consumer, how tough it's been, particularly the lower end consumer. So Best and Less talked about how the like-for-like is turning sharply. And then we got a warning from the regional airline as well. So any consumer-facing businesses now is going to head into a very, very tough environment. So investors are very cautious, wanting to stay away. Even some of the high-quality retailers are now being sold off just because there's so much uncertainty. If we have another couple of interest rate increases, a consumer may well stop spending for some time.
And you mentioned earlier China's economy starting to hit the stimulus button. Is that a good sign for some of the big miners like BHP and Rio?
Absolutely. So we should see a well supporting the likes of the iron ore prices, as well as some of the EV, which in turn for the lithium prices and the like. So, once the growth in China starts to pick up in the next few months, we should see those miners start to rally quite aggressively. But not just the mining space. In the ASX, we actually have quite a lot of other companies to play the China reopening. Chinese tourists will come to Australia. Their students will come to Australia, as well as they will purchase Australian wine. So there's a lot of areas where we can gain that exposure to that pickup in growth.
Well, Junbei Liu from Tribeca Investment Partners, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.